So I was born and brought up in Dubai, and we're a family of 5, dad, mom and 2 brothers. I started playing guitar at a very, very young age, at about 7. Dad used to send me to music class. In fact, all of the kids went to music classes, and I was not a very good student. But then, most of, I should say till about 16 or 17, I was in Dubai. Then, for the sake of education, I relocated to Chennai. So once I moved to Chennai, I started pursuing my engineering. So from 2004 to 2008, I did my engineering in Hindustan College of Engineering. 2006 is when I went to judge at Etiraj College, which is where I met my now wife. So I got married last year, that is June 2014, and it's been great. I mean, life's been so much of a blessing since then. I started learning guitar when I was 7, and I was not a very good student. I still remember, I think one of the biggest challenges that would have happened earlier on was, I'm actually basically left-handed, but my guitar teacher gave me the guitar the other way. So, but I think I just started learning like that, and it was really hard. The lessons were really hard initially. I used to get remarks in my book saying, get your sign from your dad saying you didn't learn. But eventually I stuck to it, and I practiced quite a bit. And I remember one of the first places that I played was church, and it was really, really good. I mean, that's where I started learning a lot of music. That's where I started growing. And since about 10 or 11, I started taking part in school competitions. School competitions and culturals became a very integral part of my life, and I started. We started winning some competitions, and that's how I started my musical journey. Started to grow, started to interact with people, learn from them. But I should say that the most important learning phase was playing in church, because many people think playing in church is easy, but no, it's actually a very hard thing, because you can't afford to make mistakes, because there's so much. It can distract people so much, and it can take away from what's happening at that moment so much. So that's where I learned so much music. And then a lot of interactions with a lot of artists happened. When I was in the 7th grade, I still remember playing for an artist called Steve Cuban, and that was one of the best moments of my life, because very rarely do you get to play with someone who's from the West. And Steve Cuban has written a couple of interesting songs like For the Lord Is My Tower, and some very, very popular songs. So I played with him when I was in 7th grade. And then in Dubai, you had a lot of artists coming, so now and then just jam with them. More than everything, it was such a learning experience. And then I decided to come to India to pursue my engineering in 2004. I wanted to go to music school, but my dad said, finish engineering and then do whatever you want. So I was like, okay, so I'll come to India and do engineering. And that's when I really met some of the best and most influential musicians in my life. I started attending NLAG Church here in Chennai, and that's where I met some musicians like Daniel Christian, Lionel Satya, John Satya, Jim, and Rampart. And all these people had such refined taste in music. And up till that point, I thought I knew everything. And it's when you meet people like this that you really think, man, I don't know anything. And that's where it all started for me. And I started learning a lot from them, and that's where I think my musical journey actually really, really started in India in the year 2004. That's when I actually really thought maybe I can do something with music. And I started learning, started practicing, started watching videos. My taste in music changed so much, and I started practicing each and every day. A lot of people, one of the first questions they ask is, do you practice for 8 hours, 10 hours a day? But I think for a musician to even put 2 hours a day for practice is really hard, but I somehow try to put that kind of time in. And 2007 was when I started tracking for movies, and since then it's been a lot of studio work. I think I've played about 600 plus gospel albums and maybe on 300 plus movies. So it's been a very good journey, and I'm still learning so much. And I've played with some incredible artists along the way and worked with some amazing people. And yeah, that's been my musical journey. Along this musical journey, I think a very hotly debated topic is whether I play gospel music or I play secular music, or I play. There's a huge difference of opinion that's there. But what I've learned from this whole musical journey is what are my principles? What are the principles that I have for my life? And there is only one solid thing to follow, and that's the Bible. And I think I've taken principles out of the Bible that I've used in my life to help me distinguish between what music I should do and what music I shouldn't do. And I have made mistakes. I've made a lot of mistakes. I think I should take an example of a band that I used to play for. The band's called Yodaka, and they used to sing songs. They used to do Sanskrit slokas, and the music was really good. It was a really good learning experience for me, in the sense that it really improved my musicality by like a really huge level. And I was learning so much. I was getting so much musical knowledge. And in what I didn't realize at the same time was the slokas were attributing glory to another god. And so one day the pastor from my church walked up to me, and he's like, he sat me down with the song and he explained the song to me. And at that time it really struck me, and I really thought about it, and I said, sometimes you have to cut on certain things in your life, and sometimes it means you might have to lose some friendships. But in this case it was very interesting, because I went back to the boys in the band and told them, I'm sorry, but this goes against my beliefs, and I'm sorry, but I won't be able to play with you. The funny thing is, they were okay with it, and I'm still friends with some of those guys. And I'm very glad that I made that decision, because people know that they won't call me for a song like that. If a song is there, if there's a devotional song that gives praise to some other god, they know, because in India the problem is music and culture are very strongly knitted together. So what happens is, a lot of songs sometimes have a lot of give glory to other gods and stuff. So it's about making the right choices, making the right having right principles. So it's a really tough journey, and you really need to discern what kind of music you play, what kind of music you listen to. And it's been a very interesting journey. And the thing is to surround yourself with people who are like-minded. So I'm so grateful that I have musicians and friends who really think the same way I do, who are there to support me and who are there to correct me. Sometimes when we go on these shows with a lot of artists, there's a lot of peer pressure to give into drinking, smoking, and all the wrong kind of stuff. But I think if you stand your ground and you explain to them that this is what I believe in, and I think they will respect you for who you are. And that is something you really need to stand up for, because if you are very wishy-washy, and if you have gray areas, it's really not going to work out. It's either black or white, and people respect you for that. So when I travel nowadays with artists, a lot of people, it's sometimes really hard because they'll be like, what's wrong with this guy, why is he different? But at the end of the day, they'll be like, I respect this guy for who he is, I know he won't do this. And they respect me for my work. They know that if I come, I will deliver with my work, and that's basically it. I think church has been one of the biggest learning grounds in my life, because so many people come with so many different musical experiences. As much as possible, I try to make it every Sunday to be in church, because that's where it all starts from. That's where all the music I learned came from. So I try to make it to church on Sundays. If I'm abroad, I try to make it to one of the local churches there. And I've realized that every time I come back to church, I'm like, God, here I am. I give everything I have to you, and you take me and use me. And it's funny because some of the incidents that have happened in my life are just amazing. I just submitted to God, and He's taken me places, and I've met people that I've never ever thought I would meet. What I've realized over the years is we always want to play a lot of technical stuff, we want to play a lot of fast stuff, but over the years I've realized that less is more, and it's really hard to play less. For example, I can play 100 notes in a minute and wow somebody, but I don't know if I'll be able to play 5 notes in a minute and wow somebody. And that's something that really takes talents. Like that's a real talent. For example, playing 100 notes can blow away someone like immediately, but playing 5 really good notes with good feel is an art. So that's something that been really working on, practicing. So here's some great advice for young people. I think one of the biggest lessons that I've learned through this journey is that playing less is more. And the thing about getting to this place where less is more is it takes time. It's a journey where you have to initially when I started out, because of all the people around me, I thought speed was it. I thought speed was the thing. I thought you had to play 100 notes a second, and so I just sit, and that's all that I would practice, and I would not focus on the song or the feel of the song or what the song was trying to convey. And as I kept meeting musicians and I kept learning so much more about music, I realized that each song has something to convey. And sometimes you can have all the technique in the world, but all the technique without any heart will do no good to the song. Or sometimes you can have so much feel and absolutely no technique. So you need to find the right balance between feel and technique, and use it for the song. So for example, if you take a particular song and you really need to understand what's the author trying to say through the song. Try to figure out how you approach the melody, and sometimes you just try to put so much technique on top of a solo or the song that sometimes you try to miss out the basic feel of the song. So that's something you can really work out on. being in India, a lot of us are not exposed to playing with the metronome at a very young age, but that's something that you really have to build into your system. It has to you have to internalize the whole thing. It has to become like an internal clock, and it's really important playing with the metronome. And that's the one key factor that can actually hold a band together. Like maybe a whole band, the only common element that they can all lock in is the metronome. So if bands are rehearsing, I would suggest you guys, to just all of you use a metronome and start playing. Practice disciplines for guitarists would be get a good tuner, get good strings. That's the basic thing. Get a good tuner. I've been to so many recordings. I've been to so many shows where I've seen a lot of people play with guitars that are not in tune. So get really good tuners, and take things slowly. For example, if you're doing a particular exercise and you've started at around 80 BPM, keep going at it. I'm pretty sure you can do it at 85 and 90, but keep going at it at 80 for a while. And let's say you've jumped and you've come up to 100 BPM and you feel like you can't go faster. Sometimes you feel like, man, I'm doing this exercise for so long and I'm not able to cross this point. You should just keep going at it, because what happens after a while is you'll realize that instead of going from 100 to 110, you might have a huge jump, like from 100 to 130, because you'll just realize that some technique that you were doing was not right, and so you'll suddenly realize that you can do it much faster. So these are small practice disciplines that you should have. Put a lot of hours into practice. I think early morning is a good time to actually practice, when nobody's there to tell you what to do or disturb you. And there is so much material online. Listen to good music. Surround yourself with musicians who are better than you. Always surround yourself with musicians who are better than you, because you will always have something to you'll always have somebody to inspire you, or and never reach a place of complacency, or never ever reach a place where you say you know it all, because there's just so much. There's an ocean of music to learn. So here are some things that I think are very important for acoustic guitar players. When you hold a note on the fret, on the fretboard, remember to just hold the note just before the fret, not in the beginning of the fret, not on the fret, but just before the fret. That's where you get a real full sound of the note. Not in the beginning, not on the fret, but just before the fret. That's where you get a really full sound. And that applies for all the chords or all the notes that you want to hold. Make sure you hold it just before the fret, not in the beginning of the fret, or not on top of the fret, just before the fret. That's where you get really good full sound. And always before you start playing, try to do a basic warm-up. Just do your run across the fretboard, do basic 1 2 3 4, and make sure your right hand's always doing alternate picking, doing down up. Make sure all your notes are real full, make sure you don't get half muted notes or noisy notes. Make sure you get really full notes. And another thing about strumming is make sure your pick is not like exactly perpendicular to the strings. You want to be a little inclined, so you get that nice smooth attack across the strings. And something you can really work on is dynamics while strumming. And for example, I'll take a basic example and show you a strumming pattern with and without dynamics. So here's a strumming pattern without dynamics, and here's a strumming pattern with some dynamics. Without dynamics, with dynamics. So dynamics, velocity, these are the kind of things you can work on with your strumming, And for acoustic guitar players, try to get the best sound of the guitar by trying to get more open sounds. For example, instead of playing an A like this, try to play an open A, or instead of trying to play a B major, you can just play a B sus, get a nice full open sound. And for acoustic guitar players, it would be nice if you can try to avoid the third note on all your major chords, or even on your minor chord. Try to keep it like a fifth kind of a sound. So for example, for E, instead of playing the major like this, or instead of for a let's say we take a progression like E A B E, instead of playing E like this, a really fuller and better sound would be the E5, which is it's more acoustically rich. And so I'll just show you two ways you can approach the E A B E progression. This will be the very traditional way to do it, which is a more modern way, or a more open way of approaching it, would be so always look for sounds that are really open and really full sounding on the acoustic guitar. Always if there are songs in key signatures like F or B flat or E flat, try using the capo, and try working on the keys of D, G, A and E, because they are the most open sounding sounds on the guitar.